Здравствуйте все и слава Украini! Greetings everyone, this is Lucian Vilsan with the Freedom Alternative. I'm right in the middle of the Maidan, where the independence protests took place roughly 2 years ago. And this is the place where we start our exploration, our very long exploration of the greatest and glorious Ukrainian capital. So let's stop wasting time because we have quite a lot to cover. So without further ado, let's explore Kyiv, Ukraine.
Kyiv, a huge city in terms of surface with a very long history of oppression. That is, genuine oppression as opposed to the imaginary problems of the youth of comparable cities. First things first, it is polite to try to call this city by its proper name, Kyiv, and not by its Russian name, Kiev. It is the same courtesy that I personally extend to the city of Köln in Germany, which the Anglos mistakenly and offensively call it by its French name, Cologne. With a total population at around 3 million, or 3.8 million if you include the greater metropolitan area, Kyiv is about the size of Rome and Madrid in terms of population, and in terms of surface it is comparable with Hamburg or Lisbon. It is, however, much bigger than Copenhagen, Paris, Vienna, Brussels, Bucharest, Sofia, Belgrade or Budapest. In other words, it's a fairly big city by European standards in which you definitely need a metro. Now, the metro is the part of Kyiv that is pretty much inescapable for the simple reason that it tends to be highly efficient to the point that taxis struggle to find customers despite their much lower than average prices. Unlike most European cities, a ride with the metro is just 4 hryvnia, which is around 15 or 16 cents. At this price, trying to get a week-long permit isn't even worth it because it's so cheap even for the locals. Despite the fact that it has only 3 lines, the metro system covers the city remarkably well to the extent that it exceeds the per capita efficiency of London Underground. The Kyivsky metropolitan system transports annually roughly 550 million people, whilst London Underground, serving a metropolitan area that is 4.2 times bigger, transports only 1.3 billion people. Each metro station has its own story and its own historical motifs, but the 2 most glorious stations in my view are Zoloty Varota, or the Golden Gate, for its religious-themed motifs placed since the USSR era despite objections from Moscow, and the Arsenalna station for the fact that it is one of the deepest in the world at 105.5 meters depth. Now, if you ask around in Kyiv, they'll tell you that this is the deepest metro station in the world, but since its opening in 1960, at least 1 deeper station was built in Pyongyang, North Korea. Nevertheless, it takes almost 5 minutes until you reach the actual train with the escalator. Now we'll come back to the Arsenalna station later on in this series because this is the closest station to the Ukraine National History Museum and the Holodomor Memorial. Alright, with that out of the way, let's take a look at the surrounding area of where I taped the intro. Now, when I arrived in Kyiv, I stayed in a more traditional neighborhood close to the Pecherska metro station, and by traditional I mean that the buildings were built somewhere in the 60s and 70s at the height of the Soviet-era development. In order to reach from there to Maidan Nezalezhnosti, or the Independence Square, I had to walk the entire Lesy Ukrainki Boulevard. As I was walking down the boulevard, I was a bit upset that I didn't videotape it, but then I remembered all boulevards are bloody huge. This, for instance, is the Hryshchetik Street that connects the Europe Square, which I'll show it to you in a few minutes, with the Independence Square, and then stretches a bit further to the Bessarabska Square. This street is in the top 20 most expensive shopping streets in Europe, but if you're not here for shopping, the rest is quite affordable, particularly the bars which serve fabulous food and stunning beer. You must not miss the Lvivsky porter beer, which is quite rare to find, but in this fancy district it's abundant and cheap, no more than $1 a pint for the 8% alcohol beer. Ironically, even though it is called Lvivsky, it's rarely being sold in Lviv, where it was founded 300 years ago, but that's another story. Alright, so let's take a tour of the central area.
Живить спраглі душі, шанує мудрість сиву і молодощі вчить, дарує вишиванки з писанками, наповнює любов'ю, дає наснагу жить. Українська родина, зернинка народу, джерело поколінь і пісень глибина. Українська родина, батько і мати, дитина, України моєї, берегиня свята. Нехай радіють діти у батьківських оселях, не знають українці ніякої біди, родини піднімають Україну і будуть разом з нею сьогодні і завжди. Українська родина, зернинка народу, джерело поколінь і пісень глибина. Українська родина, батько й мати, дитина, України моєї, берегиня свята. Українська родина, зернинка народу, джерело поколінь і пісень глибина. Українська родина, батько й мати, дитина, України моєї, надія одна. України моєї, берегиня свята.
unstoppable force, pale horse riding in town. Yeah. He set and sail with the object to fail. You can bet I'm gonna break it down. I'll find my way. Like hell to quit now. I'm gonna bring the drown and watch the garden burning down.
Through close spitting tongue, his name in the mud. Get out of this town.
East wind south, since harbingers now.
With a kettle and a gun, cold feet on the run. Get out of this hell.
Red race begun. Thunderstorm, shelter thieving, thorns, size the ball, go pull them out. Yeah. This is war propaganda to call hateful souls want the fallout. Like hell to quit now. With wicked words on his teeth through the curb, and you better have a skip in town. So I will bring the drown. Watch the garden burning down.
Through close spitting tongue, his name in the mud. Get out of this town.
East wind south, since harbingers now.
With the kettle and a gun, cold feet on the run. Get out of this hell.
The red race begun. The grip prize is won. And walk down the side. Your mindless is back now.
And you pay it full.
I'm gonna bring the drown and watch the garden burning down.
Through close spitting tongue, his name in the mud. Get out of this town.
East wind south,
After this, we'll take the metro and head to the deepest metro station in Europe, Arsenalna. Now, 3 landmarks are close to this station: the UNESCO heritage site of Kyivo-Peczerska Lava, the Rodina Mać statue, and the victims of Holodomor Memorial. Now, the UNESCO heritage site is glorious in its own right, but the visitation is poorly organized. Unreasonably expensive, no unified ticket system, and very strict videotaping policy, so I tried my best to videotape from the outside where no one could stop me. This was the only disappointing part of this tour, really. The place is really nice, but the staff is deeply unfriendly and the photo and videotaping policies are just plain unreasonable. Not so on the National History Museum located right next to the Rodina Mać. Now, first of all, the official Ukrainian name of this statue is Batkivshchina Mati, while the Russian name is Rodina Mać. But unlike other things to which the locals take issue with using the Russian name, this particular one is referred to as Rodina Mać by everyone without batting an eyelid. Right next to this 62 meters tall statue there is the Muzej Istorії України у Другій світовій війні, or the National Museum of History of Ukraine in World War II, which is more like a museum complex than a museum per se, as it takes at least 5 hours just to walk through it without paying much attention. It took me 7 hours to go through the entire complex, but that's because I could understand most of what was written and said around me. Otherwise, for a tourist that doesn't understand Ukrainian, it can take a lot more than that, since the audio guide in English is very meticulous with the exhibits in the main building. However, there is also the arms exhibition outside the main building, which is about the size of a huge park, and I'll take you through most of it because if I include everything in this presentation, this video would be at least 3 hours long. One particularly nice thing is that kids can climb up the tanks and most of the outdoors exhibitions, and during the morning there are also retired military men who will happily take the kids inside the tanks and show them around. I found this very refreshing. I also loved in my own childhood to go to such museums. It's cool as a young boy to get to see the inside of a tank. Sadly, this practice is no longer common in most of Europe, thanks to the anal retentiveness of most Europeans who fully embrace the helicopter parenting model, fully enforced in most of Europe by completely mental regulations that now deprive the next generation, particularly the next generation of boys, from a much more proper childhood. But anyway, I digress.
everyone. Just got out from the victims of Holodomor Memorial right here on the Dnieper shore in Kyiv, Ukraine. And I have to admit that the way it's been set up is made to touch one's soul. It really is. I mean, compared to the Siget Memorial, which is very much, you know, historically oriented, this one has, even in English, of course it has like 10 or 15 movies in Ukrainian, but also has like 3 or 4 movies in English with interviews with actual survivors. I mean, it really does touch you. It really does. Of course, no photos are allowed inside, and also no video, but you don't need to. What's truly made impressive in the scale of the genocide committed by the Soviet Union is that they have, you know, a black book of victims for every single oblast, and it's in a circle like that. And the circle, you know, it has all the oblasts, and in every single book is like that thick and like that big. And in every single one of them there's the name of every single individual who died, or sorted not alphabetically but by villages. Absolutely impressive. So yeah, if you visit Kyiv, you must not miss this, because the crimes of the Soviet Union are not even remotely discussed as they should in comparison to other crimes. So yeah, I guess that's first-hand impressions just several seconds after I got out from the memorial. For crying out loud, it makes sense that they don't like Russians. Why would they? Every time they interacted with Russia, it got bad for Ukrainians. And in the Holodomor wasn't just about exterminating the kulaks, it was also about exterminating the intelligentsia of the nation. The heart and the brain of this nation was exterminated then. Alright, I guess that's it.